Hello, my name is Wobble Rocket, and today we are checking out the new update to the alpha demo of Haru, the Armada of the Astral Void. A new patch has just dropped that's brought some incredible new features, a couple of bug fixes, and I'm really excited to get into this. Let's check out the patch notes real quick. Some of the new features include a lot of tweaks to the bosses. The Worm of Doom, which is one of my favorite bosses, I love the way it moves. The length is now going to be influenced by its level, so when you face that Worm of Doom later on in the level, it's going to be a lot longer, and that should hopefully make it a lot harder to dodge. The Seed of Evil boss, in my last video I mentioned that it was slow and just not really much of a threat, so I'm really interested to see what that's like. Enemies that are further away now move faster. The pulse cannon can now shoot backwards after you have projectile count 3. Meteors can now refresh the multiplier. That was a problem that I've noticed in the past. Whenever you kill enemies in Haru, you gain a score multiplier. Unfortunately, the meteor, or the asteroid that can drop large amounts of rings and large amounts of the blue gems, does not refresh that multiplier, and it's very easy to lose your score bonus if you end up chasing one of those asteroids. Bosses' speed now scale with their life ratio. They're faster with low life, so that should make them a lot more threatening as well. Some bug fixes involving the leaderboards and the satellites on the Skull of Darkness. One of the most interesting changes, the one that I'm really excited to get, the Raygun. I didn't actually notice it in my last video, but the Raygun was not actually dealing damage to enemies. The damage numbers were popping on the enemies as if they were taking damage, but it wasn't actually dealing any damage and wasn't actually killing any enemies. That has been fixed. The Raygun now has multiple beams, so it gains additional projectiles from duplication mirrors. So let's hop right into the game and see what we can get done. I've been waiting on pins and needles for this new update to come out. Even though it's only been, I think, maybe a week since the last update. It may have been a little bit longer than that. Alright, here's the new Seed of Evil. Let's see what he's like. Okay, yeah, attack speed is much increased, and he did start speeding up as he was losing health. It's been a couple days since I've played Haru, so I'm having to relearn the controls a little bit. I'd gotten really good at directing my ship around, but finding myself a little bit rusty today. Whoa. Doesn't look like that skull dropped a reward wheel. It's unusual. Oh, there it is. I just didn't grab it. Just so I can get out of here before I die. There we go. Okay. Pulse cannon was upgraded. Alright, I'm gonna try to hit back to our space base real quick so that we can get some upgrades to our weapon. I put a point into hull and repair droid. Go ahead and pick up a couple of points in tractor beam, and let's boost our booster engines just a little bit. There we go. All right, so the speed benefit on enemies when they're further away is nice, because normally when you rush back to the starbase, you can quickly find yourself just in a spot where there's nothing around you. Our pulse cannon is now firing behind us, so that's nice. That'll help with some of these enemies that are going to sneak up on the rear. Missile launcher, there we go. All right. That's going to help clear out some of these packs pretty quick. That should also help us get a lot of rings so that we can get some upgrades. Alright, here's Worm of Doom, level 5. Let's see how long he is. Where's he at? He's gotta be coming up on me soon. There he is. Okay, a little bit longer than normal. We're still pretty early in this run. We've got about 4 minutes left to go, so. The new speed on the Seed of Evil is really nice. In fact, I've actually kind of found myself a little complacent around him, and now I'm finding that I need to backpedal a little bit faster. Alright, let's grab some upgrades to our missile launcher, put a couple more points into pulse cannon, and let's just keep putting points into tractor beam. Okay. Whoa! Okay. Worm of Doom is definitely faster at higher levels. It came out of nowhere. Got a bunch of rings that time. Here comes Skull of Darkness level 8. Kill something before our... There we go. Just about. It does seem like maybe the new speed boosts have had an impact on performance. I am getting a little bit more lag than I did in the last update, but I'm sure that there are probably some optimizations that can be made. So you're, okay. That's new and interesting. I'm not sure if this is a bug or if this is intentional, but the Gatling gun, instead of being targeted, now spins around your ship. I actually kind of like it if it is a bug. I don't know. It's a nice change of pace from having just all of your weapons aimed forward. Okay. If that is a bug, I really hope that they keep it, because I really like that. So before this new episode, I actually spent a pretty good amount of time collecting blue gems because I had enough to get another duplication mirror. So we're going to grab that real quick. The additional bays entry on the upgrades page, I asked one of the developers about this, and it's actually not functional at this point, I believe. In a very, very early version of Haru, you could get upgrades for your starbase, and this affected the number of like cannons and things like that that you could put on your starbase. Let's see what we can do. I really hope that we pick up that Raygun weapon, because I really want to play around with the multiple beams. Okay, so that's good. Meteors are definitely extending our score multiplier now, and that was something that was not functioning in the last update. Take out the Worm of Doom. Let's see if we get a weapon. Tractor Beam Burst. All right. So the Tractor Beam Burst functions periodically, and then when it functions, it's supposed to pull in rings from a wide radius directly to your ship. I don't actually know the timing on it. I'm not sure how long, it takes for that to trigger. It's also possible that it could be bugged and that it's not functioning at the moment. Okay. Pulse cannon was upgraded. Okay, there it goes. It did work that time. It seems like it has a pretty slow cooldown, but it does pull in rings from a very wide area, so I think it's useful whenever you've drifted away from the main pack of enemies. There's our worm. Take him out. Whoa. The speed is definitely a little faster than it used to be. I'm really liking the changes to bosses. It really makes things a little bit more challenging to have them moving faster. There goes our Tractor Beam Burst. Perfect. Let's kill this Skull of Darkness, and then we'll run up to our starbase and see if we can get some upgrades. Still hoping for that Raygun. I'll take missile launcher though. Looks like they have added some spread to the missile launcher as well, so that is really nice. I'm pretty sure in the last version of the game, the missile launcher projectiles just fired in a straight line, and now they fire at a slight angle. So you're a lot more able to burst large packs of enemies. Let's run up here and get some upgrades real quick. Whoa. That was bad. I just ran right into those mines. I wasn't even thinking about them. Surprised that didn't kill me. There's our Raygun. All right. Okay, that's gonna be fun. Let's get a whole bunch of upgrades here. We're gonna throw as much as we can into Raygun and missile launcher. We'll grab we'll grab 1 point of tractor beam, stick 2 points into repair droid, and throw a little bit into our hull. All right, let's see here. Okay, yeah, Raygun has become definitely a favorite new weapon. It does phenomenal damage, it auto-targets, but the attack speed is slow enough that it's not overpowering, I think. There's our EMP field. I was actually planning on releasing the 3rd episode of my Enigmatica 2 Expert modded Minecraft playthrough today, but I had a couple of family things come up, and I'm still in the process of editing that video, so I'm going to delay it until the weekend. I'll probably also release a new video for Striving for Light Survival sometime this weekend. That game just received a large update as well, and there's been some balance tweaks to some of the weapons, so I'm excited to play around with it as well and see what new upgrades have come in the new version of that game. We've got a ton of rings, so let's run up to our starbase real quick. We're gonna go ahead and upgrade our pulse cannon quite a bit so that we can get a whole bunch of projectiles on it. Throw some more points into Raygun, and throw a couple points into EMP. The spread effect on the pulse cannon now is really, really nice. Plus the fact that it fires backwards. Because of the spread, it does become a little less useful for fighting bosses, but I actually don't mind that. The pulse cannon, because it has a concentrated forward fire, almost ends up being your best weapon against bosses, and I almost feel that that kind of cheapens some of the other weapons. You have a lot more incentive now with the pulse cannon spreading out and not being able to shotgun bosses quite so much. You have a lot more incentive to focus on your other weapons. Yeah, definitely getting some lag with the additional projectiles, but that's to be expected. I don't have my FPS indicator turned on in Steam right now, but I would like to know. I'd like to know what number of frames I was getting right there. It was probably pretty low. In fact, let's turn that on real quick. All right, do we have enough points to get any kind of upgrade? Probably not. We can increase our propulsors. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, one last run and we'll see what kind of FPS we drop to. So right now I'm getting 144 frames per second. over the last couple of days, I got a couple of things done on a branding level. Added a new banner to the channel and kind of played around with avatars. I'm starting to use Instagram a little bit more, posting photos and things like that, and I've been checking out the new Threads app. I don't know at this point if I'll end up replacing Twitter with Threads. Right now, Threads doesn't have some of the features that I would really need to consider making a full switch. Most of my feed on Threads is full of large company brands that want to tweet at me, well, I guess the term is not tweet anymore, but it's mostly large company brands, and at the moment there's no way to filter so that you're only seeing posts from people that you follow. Hopefully that will come soon. There's also no browser access. I actually ended up downloading BlueStacks, which is an Android emulator, and installed it so that I could have Threads on my computer, and that works pretty well, but I would prefer, native browser access. I'm a little concerned that if they do come out with browser access for Threads, that it won't have full features, because it's 2023 and there's still a bunch of stuff in Instagram that I cannot do on web. You can't post stories, you can't do a lot of things. There's our laser beam. Looks like laser beam hasn't had any major changes. Although the laser beam actually feels a little smoother, so I don't know if there was something made to it or if I'm just imagining that. Here comes our Worm of Doom sneaking up behind us. I actually saw him on the mini-map real quick. Let's take him out. There we go. Got a bunch of gems, that's good. Let's run back to our star base and get some upgrades real quick. Throw a bunch into our laser beam, throw a couple points into tractor beam. Pretty typical upgrade path. I'm really hoping that as the game progresses, we'll start seeing more systems that can be upgraded. I'm not really certain at this point in time, what types of systems those might be, but I mean, they could be any of a number of things. It could be a system that provides a slight increase to the amount of gems that drop, or even systems that synergize with specific weapons. So if you had, say, something that adds a random chance to produce an effect from your pulse cannon or something like that. You could even have systems that do things like restore health after you defeat a boss or something. And that might add a little bit more strategy to the times when you run back to the star base, because you'd have a limited number of rings and, more systems to select from than just the basics. Meteor right there. Yeah, so right now, and this is nowhere near as low as it was when we had so many projectiles going, but my FPS has dropped to about 35 frames per second, so definitely getting a big performance hit which usually later in a run on the previous version, I would have managed about 48 to 55 frames per second. So, you know, it's not a huge impact, but it is, visually you start running into more problems whenever frames drop down to, when frames drop down that low. I don't know enough about game development to know what might fix that. This is probably really going to drop my FPS because I just sunk a ton of points into that EMP. I did actually end up losing my score multiplier there, though. I guess I was too far away from enemies. So the portable refinery, I think I finally figured out what that item does. It periodically restores some of your boost energy, so our EMP is so large that it basically fills the entire screen now. And I don't know if it's... Hold on. I don't know if the EMP is not functioning again, or if it's just not showing damage numbers, but... See, I'm definitely, that was a big boom. That dropped frames per second down to 7 right there. That was fun. Survey mission completed. All right. So the new update to Haru, the Armada of the Astral Void, is really, really fun. I'm loving the changes to the weapons. Those are really, really great. The changes to the bosses are fantastic as well. They are really a little bit more threatening now than they used to be. One of the issues that I was running into in the previous version of the game was just that bosses really weren't a threat. They were something that you picked up for a power-up from the reward wheel. But I never really had moments where I was concerned that they were going to deal a lot of damage to me. So that is doing much, much better. You can check out the alpha demo for Haru, the Armada of the Astral Void on Steam. It's completely free. I'm going to put a link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the other videos in this series if you want to see some of the early development of Haru. And then also check out some of my other playlists for some of my other series as well. My name is Wobble Rocket, and I'll catch you around.